Hey, it's W5HRO. Well, I'm doing another video here. I thought I'd do another quick one. My plan is to finish the connections today and put it back in the cabinet and test it again. I'm using my tripod today to do this. I don't know if you can see this well enough or not. It may not be. My fluorescent lights, I have some of the bulbs out in the other end of the garage, so it kind of it's not as bright as it normally is. But I did put the, of course, I told you I did have that new filament transformer, the same kind I had in there before. After I've realized my brain fart moment. I knew better than that, but the problem was when I did this, it was like a long time ago, right after I'd done a whole slew of DC supply stuff. So I'm like, I had the configuration of the center tap of the transformer wrong for AC, and I knew better, right? But anyway, I fixed that problem. So then I decided to put a new choke, and here's the thing. Now, Hammond, most of these things are made in Canada, right? What this one say? Made in China. And I'm like, when I first opened, I said, that thing looks a little different. And I thought, well, if worse comes to worse, I just thought I can use these old ones. See, this one says made in Canada. This is one of the original ones. So, and I put this in there back in when I lived in San Jose. That was maybe back around 2012 I put this in or something when I did the modifications of this thing. Yeah, 2012, maybe 2013 at the latest, probably 2012, I think, maybe 2013. I'm within a year or two, but anyway, it's the same size. You can tell this one looks like the core, the form is actually a little bigger, but the wire thickness, I checked the gauge and the wire is identical. So as long as the wire is the same gauge, I'm not going to worry about it. But it's the same 10 Henry, 100 milliamp, and my current meter for that, the screen is 100 milliamp, and you don't ever run that high anyway. So that's perfect. And I got the terminals for it, and I just need to cut these the right length here. And when I stop the video, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this up, and I'm gonna cut these the right length, get this all reconnected. I've got everything connected, except I just haven't connected the choke up. Right now I have the jumper in its place. And the other thing that I realized too is I'm no longer going to use this relay for what I was originally going to do, switch it from AB bias if I wanted to make it a sideband driven rig into the grid or something for SSB. But I've 86 that idea a long time ago. So I'm going to leave it in there because I may use the relay for something else. But this is that 18K grid, the grid leak, bias resistor. So I need to just connect it to the end. So I'm going to unhook all the connections to it. I'm going to hardwire it. The other thing is you see this blue wire? This is that wire that goes to the grid through that 100 ohm resistor of the 1625 clamp tube. And at the time, I just, for whatever reason, I was using this blue wire to do all the DC voltage switching stuff. So I just use this, and I'm going to change this to this other same kind of wire to this high V insulated wire. I've still got I have a few small pieces of it left. I've got just enough to do it. Here's a piece of it here, but I actually I have some on a spool, but I probably have maybe, 3 or 4 feet left and it's gone. So I need to get some more of this. But I think that may actually be long enough. Well, no, that's going to be too short for what I need. Depends on where I put the connection. If I have to put a terminal strip here to connect this 18K, I'll probably change the ground of this 18K resistor. I'll probably move it, but we'll see. Let's see. I just need to unhook everything from the relay first. I'll just pull the relay out. It's a plug-in. And I made that L bracket too. I actually made that for that socket. So anyway, but one of the things that dawned on me, I don't think I was losing grid drive is why this clamp tube engaged or started drawing current basically. And I don't know if you can see, I have the video camera. How do I have that? Is this the right? I'm trying to see which is the right angle for the camera. You may have to rotate the video if it's not right. But I was thinking, since I beefed up the modulation and the problem got worse when I put in those new pair of A10s when the modulator power came up, what's happening if it's so high at the screen modulation, that it's going, what happens is when you're transmitting, the grid, the 1625 is pulled all the way down to pretty much its max down to cutoff. And then when I'm modulating, what if it's going all the way down? I mean, the limiter is going to keep it from doing that, but I'm thinking, what if it's going down too far and the voltage is so low with that minus 200 some odd, milliamps of grid drive? I mean of grid voltage, negative grid voltage, that it's actually it's causing a problem. That's where it's coming down too far, and the voltage on that 1625 plate is dipping all the way down to probably about 50 volts or so, maybe less. And maybe with this minus 220 volts on the grid, it's causing a problem. Maybe that's what I'm thinking. That could be what's actually going on, and not losing grid drive, because it dawned on me, the fuse that blows, I'm not losing the power to that exciter rack in any way. Everything is on full. And I don't think I was losing. I think I still had, what I noticed when it happened is I lost screen current and plate current, but I think I still had grid drive current. So the reason I'm bringing this up is, when I get this all done here in a couple more, I'm just taking my time. Probably in 2-3 more hours, I'm going to have this in the rack testing it. It's Saturday afternoon, about early afternoon, shortly afternoon, I think. So I'm going to try it first with this 1625 tube out and make sure that the problem's gone. If not, I've got to keep looking. But I'm pretty sure, I see this, right? As soon as I turned that thing over and I went to change that cap on the top of this deck, I saw that and I went, oh, wait a minute. That's where the flash has got to be coming from. But the more I think about it, the more I think it's not because of a loss of grid drive. I think it's because the voltage when I modulate's dropping down so far. And the other thing too is, it's possible that, because on 75, I still haven't, I need to tweak the match of that open wire line, that 300 ohm twin lead that I have that's coupling to the grid from the exciter rack. I need to get that match better to get the power up on the exciter, because I'm having to run it up, the power of the exciter up too high for 75. And maybe this tube is it's going past the max of the control grid voltage. That's the other thing. And I'm thinking I should probably put a resistor here and do like a resistive divider to cut the voltage back, because I know it's probably going down a little too far, but I need to check it first. What I was going to do was, I was going to put a couple of those jacks on the back of this transmitter that I could just plug my voltmeter leads in, one of them goes right to the screen, and then the other one can go right to the grid here or something maybe. And I can just have jacks and I can test that every so often if I ever need to. Like right now, I need to check that voltage. So that's the other thing I'm going to do. But I'll figure out here later on today, more than likely, if this thing is going to fly the way with this tube removed or not. If it works like I think it probably will with the tube removed. I'm not positive. I was wrong the first time, right? I may be wrong about this. But if it works with this tube removed, then I know I have to work on this circuit. And it dawned on me, I can't put a resistor from the cathode down the ground, because that would cathode bias this thing all the time. Then I don't know if it'd come down enough with the grid drive applied. It might, I don't know. But then I'd have to put a series resistor with the plate to kind of maybe stop, although that's going to lower the voltage even more. But I don't want it a complete short. My final plan on this is I want to independently control the voltage on this grid, so I can actually have this thing actually draw just a little bit of current all the time when I'm transmitting, so I can keep the max screen current. Because right now the screen current will go up to 60 mils. It'll go all the way up, I think, just a hair past 60. And I need to be able to limit that current, and this tube will be a good thing. But if I put a series resistor, I could use it for that purpose. I could control this independently. Now, if you remember, I had this extra supply in here, this a negative supply that I'm not using right now. I thought I could convert it to a positive supply and then feed it up here. But the problem is, I thought, well, if I could block it with diodes, the problem is negative here and positive here, it's going to go through the diodes. I would have to figure out a way so it would only hit the control grid. It would only start forcing at this point, and from this point here, that positive voltage wouldn't get past this resistor or something. You would, because you wouldn't want you wouldn't want a positive, because it would also affect the grid drive trying to do that. It would, the two supplies would, they would, you know, they would, the voltage is being developed across this resistor, but it's still considered a supply, and they would counteract each other. So there's no really way to block it, I don't think. I have to really, there might be a way. I'm not going to do that. I had an idea, but it would add another tube to act like a switch, and I'm not going to do that. So anyway, so I'm thinking if I just control it independently, so it's only going to be on transmit, because I'm not transmitting, there's no B plus here on the modulator transformer or the screen, so it's dead anyway. So on transmit, I could make it to where it just draws just enough current so I can't go past. I'd probably want to stop it at 50 mils. Because the way it was working here, the last time it was working perfect was I had 30 mils of screen current, 12 mils of control grid drive, and 300. I had the perfect amount of cathode current for the perfect match for the modulation transformer. And what was I going to say? And it, you know, when I'd modulate, the screen current was only going up a little bit. Now that I had everything was working properly on the plate too, when I changed that tube. So it solved all that other problem, and I wasn't getting that massive screen current modulation all by itself. So if I limit it to 50 milliamps, it'll still work fine. So that's what I plan to use that tube for, but I'll have to probably put a resistor in here so it doesn't load it down too bad, you know? So, and then the problem is if I put a resistor here, then this is part of the grid leak. I'd have to probably increase this to 20 at least, maybe a little higher, and put it'd be like a 3 resistor thing. But then if this resistor was too large, there wouldn't be enough current to even do anything with this to keep the tube, you know, in cutoff. So that's the other thing. So I would have to make this one really large, maybe increase this one a tad bit, and then increase this slightly so the whole thing is still about, you know, as long as it's 20K or between 20 to 17K, I'm fine. As long as it stays, the whole thing equals that circuit, because this is going to be high impedance at the grid. I would just ignore that resistance there, that impedance. So you can see what I'm dealing with. I'm just trying to figure out. I'm going to verify first that I'm pretty sure it's this tube. And the problem may be gone when I modulate now. If not, I got to keep digging. Like I said, it could be those plate bypass caps. I mean, the B plus bypass caps connected to the base of the plate choke, RF plate choke. You know, like I said, it could be those. And the other thing it could be, there could be something wrong with my negative peak limiter. Maybe one of those diodes shorted. But I'm looking at the circuit. Even if it did, I don't think it caused the problem that I'm seeing. Right, so anyway, that's what I have, but I'm still getting plate voltage. It just kills the fuse, and it makes perfect sense. If this tube turns on, it's going to blow the fuse that it's blowing. That's exactly what would happen. So that's why I'm pretty sure it's this. So I'm going to verify that today, and we're going to go in there and modulate it, and if the modulation's all back and it's not flashing anymore, then I know that it's this circuit, and then I just have to work on this, and I'll probably go ahead and do that modification to figure out. What I'd have to do is I just leave this external supply that I have in here, the one that I'm not using anymore, I'll just leave it a negative supply, and I would just adjust the grid of this 1625 by itself, you know, to limit the current. The only thing is, if I ever lost grid drive, it wouldn't pull the screen all the way down to nothing, and that's you know, that's the other thing. But you can't have your cake and eat it too in some cases. Well, in most cases you can't. Sometimes you can, but this isn't going to be one of them, I don't think. So I have to kind of, like I said, I'm going to go back in the ham shack, the radio room, in a little bit. And I was listening to some guys on 17 meters a minute ago, and I got the amp on. But I'm going to come out here and wire this thing up in a few minutes, this choke, and I just want to kind of think of this some more before I go any farther. But, well, I can go ahead and hook. I already know what I'm going to do right now. If I do anything else, like I said, it's going to be after I test it. So I'll go ahead and I'll do this here in a few minutes. And I'll take it in there and I'll run the test and see what happens. And attach it to this video, I guess. So we'll just put this video on standby, and you'll hear a blink right after this blink, and I'll be back. Blink. Okay, here it is in the back in the cabinet, and it's all wired up. And that's that carbon. That's not carbon. I'm sorry. That's that iMac Jan, that military grade of 4-400A that was never used. I found in a box. It was pretty cheap, so I grabbed it too. When I find them for a decent price and they're unused, I grab them. So, but it's all there, and take a look at this. Okay, now when it takes a while for the regulators to settle, because they're coming from a cold start, right? Those OD3s. Come on, Max. Our stray cat came back. We were taking care of him all last spring, summer, and we took off to Oklahoma, and we came back and he was gone, and we looked all over for him and we couldn't find him. And all of a sudden he just showed up like 3 weeks ago. So and we renamed him. I took him to the vet and everything. He's a cute cat. So he's my radio buddy. I was glad to get him back. It looks like he had gotten hit by a car, which is what was causing that limp he had. But anyway, if you look at this, now that I'm stabilized, let's get the screen card up to 30 mils. Okay, Max, come on. And let's turn the audio up. Now, I don't know if the flash is still going to happen, but check this out. Hey, now the plate current's going forward again. Modulation's completely back. Yay, yay, yay. Everything's working. It's back to normal again. The carrier power on this tube is just a hair lower, like about maybe 10 watts lower than that other iMac I was using, but it's a brand new tube. Yay! 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 Now I don't have the idle bias set right on this pair of 810s that I have in here, but everything. A. So if I put that other tube in here, the power comes up and it'll actually go up a little bit higher. But it's back alive. Everything's working like it's supposed to. Now I don't know if that flash. I'm gonna have to just keep transmitting here. I'm gonna have to keep playing with it here for a few minutes to see if it's gonna happen. I'm on dummy load, net oil fill. Oh my God. But I think that clamp that 1625 was a problem. I'm not positive, so let me play around with this some more, and I'm gonna just go and upload this video. But if well, let's put it this way: if I've uploaded this video and you're watching it, the flashover didn't occur, and I've eliminated the problem, or I've found the source of the problem, which would be that 1625 clamp tube. I think what might be happening is my screen modulation on the tube might be a little bit too hot, and maybe it's going all the way down below zero on that 1625 tube, and that's what's happening. So I'm gonna just have to work on that circuit if that's what it is. So if you're watching this video, I verified that that's the problem. That's all for now. 73s, this is W5HRO.